Well, after our extended break there due to a variety of interruptions, geez, when was it? It was, it was end of January. So it's been almost a month, I think. To recap where we were at, Nora had returned with Flinders, and the group is dividing up. Flinders, Baker, Watson, Brady. We're going to go meet Mrs. Hastings and Mr. Cox in the hold to cast the spell. Mr. Wright is keeping Miss Green busy in the dining lounge. Mr. Draper is watching the box and rigging up alarm wires on the different doors. Group summons the portal successfully despite some power roll fails down in the hold. Wright is brought down to the hold to deal with people who are trying to force their way into the room. Draper hears the attack on the room down the way, escapes with the box to the dining hall as the hybrid fishmen break into a room, one of the farther bedrooms that you are inhabiting. The deep ones down in the hold are angry, demand their artifact back, make no promises as to whether they, as to the safety of the boat or the investigators. They start to push their way through. There are a few sanity failures during this entire process, but not enough to have anybody go through temporary insanity. Wright tries to convince the crowd to disperse. This does not work very well. Tackles one of the people to the ground and handcuffs them with the aid of the bursar. Mr. Draper heads down to the hold after talking to Miss Green. Meets up with Mr. Wright, moving the box to the midship cargo, deciding to head back up to the bridge somewhere upwards in the ship with the artifact. Deep ones come out of the portal and fight the investigators. Flinders gets partially sucked into the portal and then stabbed with a trident. Mrs. Hastings is overtaken by her chanting and has some sort of force field around her. The enemies are dropped with some swift gun work from our own Miss Baker, and notably an extreme success. Nora heads back to check over it on Flinders. Nora Brady Watts successfully. Oh, geez, oh, sneezing. Excuse me. Woo! Successfully first aid by Nora and Brady on Flinders to stabilize him to 1 HP. The lower door is opened by Cox, who goes Cox, who goes mad at the suggestion he help out due to a pushed roll. Escapes out the far. You escape out the far door upon letting the horde of passengers into the lower door. Draper and Wright hear more noises of rooms being tossed. Head up to the captain's room. Explosions in the deck below. Could this be the box that was booby trapped? Probably. Wright goes to check on Miss Green. Finds that she is being held by Fishman and Miss Cuthbert. Watson Company go up to the doctor, but the hall past the in the hall past the rooms. You see the results of this explosion. There are 3 dead fishmen on the floor. You head to the infirmary, find the doctor there treating various people, send the nurse down to the hold. Flinders is helped by the doctor, successful medicine roll, and he has been stabilized. Draper hides the box in the captain's bathroom and barricades the hallway door. Wright heads to the cargo hold. First aid checks. One of the crewmen has broken their leg. Nurse shows up, says she'll help, takes care of the crew out there. Wakes up a couple crewmen. They were beaten by the crowd when someone came out from behind as they were trying to hold them back. Can Wright get word to the captain potentially about what's happening down here? 2 men that were there had led the crowd down to the cargo hold and are now gone. And anything else you guys want to fill in or question in that recap?
Yeah, I bumped into it was the room where Green was, right? That had like the assembly of baddies.
Yes, it was the dining hall. Miss Green and a bunch of other passengers are being held by a bunch of fishmen and Miss Cuthbert. The room was obviously fairly dark. It was hard to make out, despite what it looked like on the map, because of course you are on currently emergency power and only emergency lighting is up. Yeah. So yeah, Flinders was stabilized by the doctor and is unconscious, but has been fortunately now stabilized, so he's not in imminent danger of dying, despite some pretty severe stab wounds.
This is totally going to make him like all the more reckless and ridiculous. It's just going to be like, I must know the truth.
Yeah.
Where are the mole people? Where are they?
The sea mole people. Well, all of you are at fairly adjacent points in time. I would say probably the most logical place for us to go is the group of you who are with Flinders currently. Which was this one? No, not this one. Yeah, no. Yes. Yes. We'll pretend that this over here is the oh yes, right, and you were carrying Mrs. Hastings. So this was Watts, Baker, and Brady. And Mrs. Hastings, I believe, was also unconscious and was being carried by you. Like she's like kind of, or at least like partially conscious.
Yeah, I think she ended up like sitting on a chair in the corner, and she was still like
She's out of it. She's not like totally like knocked out.
Yeah.
I think the map said this way. And were we in the hallway over here first?
You were before, but you had made it to the infirmary, which I'm pretending that this little room over here is.
So
that would be.
got there.
Yeah, I never moved you on the map in that last period of us discussing what happened in the infirmary.
There's look like some delicious tomahawk steaks on their grills over there.
Just a whole bunch of steaks.
Yeah,
this also wouldn't be the appropriate place for the kitchen, based on the actual map of the ship, but it is what it is. In retrospect, I would have used this ship had I known this mini map existed back, but it's one of the things. If somebody else takes a turn at Call of Cthulhu, Emily's kind of interested. I have paid for a Patreon for a guy who specializes in Call of Cthulhu maps, and like, oh my god, so many great ideas, so many great maps, and I just wish that I had known about this like 6 months ago.
Right.
Yeah, at some point after this campaign, I want to do one where you're like, you know, gentleman explorer types and in like Africa or something on a crazy dig. Or possibly like Atlantic or something.
Heart of Darkness.
Mountains of Madness.
Anyway, what would y'all like to do?
I'm gonna reload my pistol.
Also that, yes. I guess I will go over to Miss Hastings and sort of try and check on her, see how she is doing, if she seems to be coming around or is still kind of out of it in a daze.
You can give me a general first aid check if you just want to kind of like general sort of like how is she doing. That's a more like, is she particularly hurt?
Sure, I will do first aid first to see if she particularly needs like medical attention as well. That probably makes sense.
She seems physically whole, and just kind of out of it. I mean, based on a pure sort of 1920s first aid check, maybe some smelling salts or something would particularly perk her up.
All right, I will glance around the like little medical office that we wandered into. I feel like smelling salts would be easy to locate in this type of place.
Are you going to go rummaging through some cabinets?
Yeah, like I'm not gonna like open a bunch of drawers, but maybe just like check a couple of cabinets nearby it and see if they're easy to spot.
As you're looking around, the doctor looks over from working on Flinders and says, "Can I help you? Is there something you're looking for, ma'am?"
Smelling salts, if you have a moment to point them out. Our friend here, she seems to have been rather disturbed by events.
He squints at you and points towards the cabinet just above you and says, "On the left there. Don't mess with anything else."
Of course not. Thank you. And I will. I feel like at some point Nora's aunt probably needed smelling salts. Like, it seems like a likely thing. I don't know. If it's something she may know how to use, she'll just go and try and wake up Miss Hastings.
Sorry, I'm just googling smelling salts. It's interesting. Now I'm getting on a bit of apparently, it's not like a specific thing. It's there's a common like element, but there's usually also perfume in it.
I think the idea is just that it's pungent and it's shocking.
Yeah.
Now used by weightlifters.
Yeah, it. So you wave it underneath her nose, and you can catch a whiff of the intense odor, and you see her nose twitch briefly as she suddenly straightens up, coughs out a little bit, and says, "Miss Baker, what happened?"
Well, this spell to converse with them seems a little more potent than we expected. They formed a portal and began to push through onto the ship. We had to fight them off, but it seemed you were trapped in some sort of magical loop. I don't know exactly. You were stuck chanting, and it was powering the portal. We had to resort to rather desperate measures to end things.
You mean I was successful? I cast a spell.
You certainly did that, my lady, but please, let's be cautious in future. You could very well have died if you hadn't had people there who have encountered similar situations.
Exactly why I ventured to have your assistance. Now, where's the book? I must look at it.
I don't remember.
I was gonna say, Mr. Watts has the book. What's Mr. Watts saying about the book, though?
I'm not saying anything.
Like, you should probably rest for now, but we'll have a good look at it together when you're ready.
Let's go help the wife real quick. Sorry.
All right.
She just got back.
Says, I'm exhausted. Is there a place for me to lie down?
Is there a place immediately in this area for her to lie down? Or?
There's a single bed which is being taken over by Flinders at the moment, and so there's no place for her to really lie down properly.
How far are we from her room?
One floor and the entire length of the I think of the one floor and then across the side of the ship, and then like she's like up and then the other side from you.
I don't. Nora's pretty strong. I don't feel like she weighs a lot. I feel like I could just like scoop her up and carry her to her room.
Yeah, you probably could.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Just look back over my shoulder as I sort of gently scoop her up, and say to the others, "Make sure Flinders is all right, and then perhaps we should regroup up with the others and discuss what's next. I'll be back as soon as I can."
Well, Mr. Brady, in lieu of Mr. Watts, is there anything you would say?
Yeah, I'm hoping that the doctor can take care of Mr. Flinders, and yeah, I think it's a good idea to reconvene with the others. But the room full of crazed people is definitely of concern. So I guess when you get back, we'll have to tread those waters.
Indeed. I'm kind of rethinking. Like, maybe we shouldn't leave her on her own, like, in her room.
As long as Miss Green is there, is that do we think that she's there?
I guess I will check. I will carry her to her room and see if there's anyone around. Maybe Cox has regained his senses? I don't know.
Did we leave him in that room?
He ran off.
Yeah,
he did.
he
That's
ran
right.
away.
Yeah,
I
he
challenged his manlyhood and he ran away.
he bulldozed through people, right, and hurt them.
Yeah, exactly. He was the reason
Yeah,
that there was
yeah.
like the
Yep.
all right. So Baker, you are calling Mrs. Hastings up the stairs.
Yeah, I will like scoop her up and carry her to her room and see if Miss Green or Mr. Cox are around.
All right.
And if they seem not too rattled.
So I'll say that you grab her up and walk out the door, heading towards the stairwell at this end of the boat to go up to the next level. And with that, we will flip over to. How about we go to Mr. Which one of you? Yeah. Yeah, I suppose I was gonna say Draper is probably the easy one too, since you're basically in a holding pattern at the moment. All right, so I will say, Mr. Draper, give me a listen roll at the door. With a hard success, you do hear noises coming from the hall. People moving to and fro, but obviously more than that, you cannot tell. Like it's definitely like listening hard that there are soft footsteps, potentially some wet soft footsteps upon the carpeted hallways. They do not seem to be coming for your room, though, that you are in, the captain's room. They are vaguely fishy. Yeah, basically the captain's room is like way at the end of the hall in the very front of the boat, forward of the actual staircase. Well, so like they would have to be coming very specifically for his room to come near his room. So yeah, if you heard them coming close, they would basically be coming for you, but that is not what you hear. It sounds more like them patrolling the upper level. And then I guess let's say Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright, what are you doing? You were still down the hold, I think?
Yeah, I tried to get back to Green since I promised I'd come back.
Oh, yeah. No, I think
then,
I can't remember if you went back down to the hold after that point or you were still up in the stairwell.
Last roll was a medical check, so I tried helping people that were hurt. I tried
Yeah, down
catching
the
up
hold.
with the people. No one was there. Down in the hold. And I already stumbled into that room with the with the crazies.
Yeah, I thought you stumbled in the room with the crazies and then you went back down to the hold to see what was going on.
I
was
left
gonna
a note
meet
on
up-
one of the bodies, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Do you remember what the note said?
Basically, that we were headed to the infirmary to look for help.
Perfect. Yeah, otherwise I would have been heading to the captain. This makes more sense. Y'all head to the infirmary.
Yeah, because he had left a note up for you on purpose,
Would
and
we
also to
be
not open the door.
heading to the uh infirmary together? Us, the hurt crewman, the
If you wait
additional
around
nurse,
for
and
Yeah, if you wait around for a brief moment, you could help out with hauling the hurt crewman towards the infirmary, along with the healthy crew.
yeah, strength in numbers and all that. If they aren't going to take too terribly long, I'd probably help out
Yeah.
and go in a group.
So the nurse splints the broken leg of the one crewman with your assistance. If you want to give a first aid roll, maybe you can help more than just your basic directed assistance.
All right, all right. Said first aid.
Yeah, first aid. You check through the other unconscious crew members. You're able to prop them up against the wall and rouse one more of them who seems to come to, just simply having been beaten but not severely injured. The four of you prepare to make your way upstairs with the crewman with the broken leg. The nurse asking you to hold on the other side while the crewman who's only been recently roused follows behind. Unless there's anything else you want to do, you can start making your way up the stairs.
Other than putting the "do not open the door" note, maybe tearing off the part that says where everybody went, just leaving "do not open door" on the next to the door, and then follow them up. Which we already told the crewman not to open the door, I think. So it's a little extra.
All right, so apparently I can't spell the word infirmary. It's now several times that I've misspelled it. So you assist in heading up the stairs, and I will put you back on the same map. First class quarters, and so that would bring you up into where are you'd be over here, along with I need some generic. Hold on, go to the map. Generic tokens. There we go. So you're up here on the up on the first class lower deck. As you exit the stairwell, all is quiet, and there is a bit of a billowing mist coming from the hallway ahead of you.
Uh-oh. Everybody else that I'm with looks pretty haggard, right?
Absolutely. Obviously, the nurse is okay, but fairly overwrought with the situation. The two crewmen obviously are not in great battle. The
Yeah.
nurse turns to you and says, "I came through that mist on the way down here. You'll have to watch your footing. There's some broken glass and plates upon the floor."
Okay. Kind of look everybody over and kind of sigh. Get out the pistol. I'll go first. Everyone be careful.
You don't hear music. There should be music in the in roll 20.
Oh. I see it playing, but I don't hear it. Never mind.
It's weird. Let me start and
No,
stop
it's
it.
not you. It's me. It has to be me.
Oh, really?
There she goes.
Did that work?
Yep.
Weird. Turn it off and on again. Mr. Wright, as you head towards the mist, you see it covering a section of the hall just ahead of you. The nurse and company following behind. It-
I
It's
hesitate.
very dense fog, essentially.
Okay. I hesitate before actually walking through and see if I can hear any movement.
Give me a listen roll. You hear nothing as you start crawling or start walking through the mist.
Take it slow, like I was told.
You kick a few items that are on the ground, as she suggested. There's clearly like the detritus of leftover meals that have been dropped in the hall. As you exit the far side of the mist, you see signs of the explosion that have blown out the door to the room on your right. Bodies littering the ground.
Does it seem like that's where the fog's coming from?
The fog seems to be emanating from the center of the hall, and is not coming from this room. The room itself is smoky with the burnt embers of the remnants of whatever explosion rocked it. You can recognize this room as the one of the rooms of your own, where you guys had been storing one of the booby trap boxes.
Is the door like completely off the hinges?
It is completely off the hinges. It has been torn free to access the room.
Kind of, if I can, kind of like half prop up a door, vaguely, uh, vaguely shelter the insides, I guess.
You can kind of like ease the door back into place, but it only sort of partially covers it since it's been broken and ripped from its tethering on the side, hinges. As you do so, the nurse stumbles out of the fog with the crewman in tow. She says, "Oh, what is going on in there? I rushed past on the way. It seems like there's been an explosion."
Another mess to deal with later. Let me help. And help them the rest of the way.
Without much further ado, you can make your way down to the infirmary where you would discover Mr. Brady and Mr. Watts with a beleaguered Flinders upon the operating table being seen to by the doctor.
There is visible relief whenever he sees his friends.
I'll be stood there triumphantly with a trident in hand.
Look what I got!
I guess Nora would have had to leave hers like against the wall when she scooped up Miss Hastings. So you're responsible for getting her trident back to her, Mr. Watts.
Well, I had
Yeah.
both. I would have carried both. I think I'd said that before.
I was about to ask, does she have like? Because I was wondering, because would she have like Hastings on one shoulder and then holding the trident in another?
No, I figured I did the like scoop her up like a child type thing,
Yeah.
not like a fireman's carry. That's not very dignified.
More romantic, less practical.
Yeah. Yep.
Now that Nora knows who this person is, she's yeah, she's getting in there if she can.
That's what she said?
Yes.
So you're arriving there. Brady and Watts seem to be, relatively speaking, no worse for wear, despite their harrowing experiences. Flinders has what appear to be some bloody holes in his chest, and the doctor is currently stitching him up.
right? Putting his gun back in his coat and say, it's good to see you all made it.
You as well, Mr. Wright.
What in the
Where
hell
is,
happened down there?
They took control of, and I point to Mrs. Hastings.
Who's they?
Oh, sorry. Hastings is now. You missed this. Hastings has been taken to her room by Miss Baker.
I woke her up with smelling salts and she wanted to lie down, so I carried her off romantically.
Oh,
Yeah, I should have moved you actually off of this. Hold on.
my bad. Mrs. Hastings. They took control of Mrs. Hastings, and she kept the portal open, and they started climbing through.
Wait, hold up. Who's they and where's Miss Hastings and Nora?
Well, the real deep ones, not the hybrids that we've been seeing. And Miss Nora has taken Mrs. Hastings back to her room.
Okay. Did she seem cognizant or
Yeah.
no strange languages or
No,
anything?
it seemed like it was just a mild possession, and once the portal was closed, that ceased to. Actually, yeah, it was Brady here who snatched the book from my hands to break the spell.
Yeah, she seemed to have been just locked in reading the book, or just that she was basically part of this conduit, and it was borderline impossible to get the book from her grasp.
Yes, it was a spell casting.
Perhaps I'm looking around. There's what now, like 3 crewmen and two medical professionals.
Yeah.
Said perhaps I'll have to get the full story later.
Yeah, I think we need to make it to the bridge to see what's going on with these engines. I believe we're stopped and dead in the water.
Uh,
Where's Roland?
Draper's on his own at the moment. We had to move, as you saw. Um, they tried for our room. I guess they still think we have the package.
Yes, I did briefly go in there to make sure it wasn't one of you who was hurt in there, but it looks like Roland's trap seemed to work.
What happened to you after you had talked to Miss Green?
Well, it's been a bit of a blur now, but when the lights went off, um, it's chaos out there now, which uh, there seems to be some kind of concentration in the dining hall. I seem to have stumbled in on uh, Miss Cuthbert with uh, whatever plans she's laid are now unfolding. They have hostages, and this I kind of direct towards the crew and medical staff.
They've got hostages.
Yes.
They're playing their hand right now.
Whatever they've planned, they don't seem to be afraid of acting in the open anymore.
Hmm.
We really should all gather together.
Were we
Yes, we
going
should.
to wait for Nora to come back, or since the trident is still in there? Or...
She said she would be back.
Okay.
Though, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's up to you guys.
Should we just wait for her to return?
There's no point in splitting up right now.
Well, more than we already have.
Well, again, if they know we're here, or if Nora knows we're here, there's no point in not being here and missing her. But
She was heading to Miss Hastings' quarters, so if she doesn't return, we know where to start looking.
We'll switch over at this point to Miss Baker, since it's probably about the right time. She would have made her way upstairs. Mrs. Hastings, you arrive at Mrs. Hastings' door. As you do so, you hear some noises from down the way and around the corner in the hall of shuffling feet.
What kind of shuffling feet? Do they sound like, I don't know, people on patrol, fishies on patrol, or like, I don't know, drunken dudes wandering around?
Give me a listen roll. As obviously it's
Scared
dark.
Mr. Cox.
With an extreme success, these sound like the wet slapping of webbed feet upon the ground of the carpeted halls. Basically, Mrs. Hastings' bedroom is the complete opposite side of the second floor for the first class cabins from the captain's. She is like starboard side at the far back, whereas the captain is the port side at the far front. Port side bow versus starboard side aft.
Gotcha. And the fishy sounds are between me and Miss Hastings'
The
room.
fishy sounds sound like they would be coming from the hall at the far forward side that would be going to the port side of the vessel.
Could I like fairly quickly, I don't know, can I make some kind of judgment that I could like get to the captain's room before the fishy things came close
No,
enough?
quite the opposite. The fishy things are near the captain's room at the far side of the boat. You are far away from them, and with an extreme success roll did you actually hear to make out what the heck was going on.
Okay, so I hear that they're there. I know Draper is there.
No, I don't
No.
think you know
Okay.
that Draper went to that room. No, you didn't meet up with him.
Right, because we haven't met up for quite a while at this point. So many
Draper's
things have
son,
happened.
yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, then I will just try and as quietly and quickly as possible, like, cross into the next section so there's like distance between me and the fish things. And I'm hopefully heading in the right direction towards her rooms.
No, so you're basically outside of her room right now.
Oh, okay. I thought you. Gotcha.
Yeah,
I thought you meant I still had to go, but
No,
okay.
you basically reach her room and is yet to be opened when you hear this noise.
Okay. Well, in that case, I will like sort of gently knock on the door and see if Miss Green or hopefully Mr. Cox has recovered and answers the door or something.
You hear nothing from inside.
I will try the door.
Door is locked. Next to you, Mrs. Hastings reaches into her blouse and pulls out some keys that she fumbles and drops with a clatter.
We'll sort of bend down and scoop them up and just kind of hold them. Just like, which one?
There's only one key basically on the ring.
Okay. Well then, never mind. I will open the door.
So the ship's keys, like it's it's all like a little like
Gotcha.
double thing.
Yeah. I will open the door and help her inside. Do I see anything like, I don't know, any signs of someone having been in here since earlier? Like,
First give me a luck roll.
oh, good.
As you open the door and usher her inside, you look to your left down the hall, and just as you see the mottled visage of a dimly lit hybrid deep one rounding the corner at the far end of the hall, you step into the room and close the door behind you. The room itself is completely shadowed in darkness because there are no emergency lights within the actual rooms themselves.
I'm going to lock any kind of lock that there is on this door. and very quickly help Miss Hastings over to at least sit on the bed. If I cannot see anything at all, I guess I'll I don't know. I've got a lighter. I will light my lighter and try and usher her over to the bed quickly, and then put stuff in front of the door just in case.
You're able to bring her over and usher her into her bed. She mumbles as she is exhausted and falls into the luxurious comfort of the bed that she has available to her. You look around the room, and there is a chair there if you want to use it to wedge underneath the doorway.
Yeah, I will do that, and just sort of stayed near the door, listening as closely as I can to the hallway to see if the fishy things are coming closer.
I will say that you do not need to make another listen roll. You listen carefully for the sound that you heard before. You hear it slowly making its way towards you, rattling some of the doors along the way. As it gets closer, you hear it pause at the end, at the top of the stairs there, just around the corner from Mrs. Hastings' room, before it continues towards the other side of the ship once more. And with that, we'll flip back to the rest of the group. This basically, so yeah, as I was saying, Mr. Draper, they are now in a room on the far side, literally like opposite side and opposite end of the ship, in the upper level from you, but on the same floor. Yeah, makes sense. All right, Watts, right, Brady, what you gonna do? Wake up, Flinders! Bring him along.
Give him a trident. Why not? Guess while we're waiting around, probably just help the injured best we can.
Well, if you want to do some medicine rolls for doctoring, you can certainly do so, or first aid, I suppose. They don't really need first aid at this point. It would basically be medicine rolls, which would take a fair bit of time. It takes an hour to do proper medicining, but the doctor seems to have stuff well at hand. I would say that in this period of time, some time has passed since Miss Baker has disappeared upstairs. From the perspective of Mr. Watts and Mr. Brady, she has now somewhat overdue from returning from the room that she was taking Mrs. Hastings to, considering it is relatively close.
No, I should have been back by now.
Really, really wish we had cell phones. Hey, there's a dude between me and you. He might not be friendly.
Yeah,
She just said that she was taking Hastings back to her room.
And then be
Yeah.
right back. We should where was Draper again?
He's in the kind of look at the rest. We found another room.
Okay.
We should go get Nora then.
Yeah,
Make
right.
haste, making lots of
Right
noise.
knows where Draper is. Right. I thought you guys ran into each other, right?
Yeah, I'm just not saying it in front of the crew.
Yeah. Right.
Correct.
Right?
I guess I'm going to just grab her trident, and I guess if we're gonna go look for her,
What?
I will bring it to her.
I gotta ask, what's up with the tridents?
Oh, these are
That's
the things that they were shooting lightning things from.
It's for a later story.
The non-hybrid fishman came out of the portal with the tridents, so
Yep. And I snatched one away.
I suppose you're
Well,
asking in
the other
character
people.
though. So if you guys want to explain,
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. I snatched one away. I thought that was going to be the leader. I thought it was Poseidon's trident or something. I just bit of excitement overwhelmed me, and that was the immediate reaction I had. Probably a bit silly now looking back at it, but
Well, if nothing else, they'll make good souvenirs, I guess.
I don't know. They seem to do this, and I point the trident at a door.
The trident does not fire any lightning from it. It points at the door.
And can I say an alien word like shoot or something like that, or lightning or light?
As you say, sorry, Emily's asking me. Sure. I say volunteering. I guess, give me a luck roll.
Nope.
Nothing happens.
Right, kind of half flinches for a second, and then is it supposed to do something?
Well, what does your thing in your pocket tell you?
We really should be going.
The thing in your pocket is definitely vibrating at the adjacency to the tridents.
And I just wink and I say, "Let's go."
I will pick up the trident and I'll take it with me.
In my notes, what starts to shoot the trident? It does not shoot.
I will start making our way to Mrs. Hastings' quarters. I say we err on the, but I say we go silently and stealthily as possible.
It looked like Flinders was injured. Is he gonna make it?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I didn't think he was.
I think it's kind of up to the doctor. I guess we'll have to come back to see. It's kind of hard to
Wasn't it-
tell, I think.
Was it Brady? Or was it you or Nora who managed to stabilize him?
I think it was mainly Nora, but I tried to help.
Do
Yeah,
feel
well,
guilty now, allowing him to tag along. He is way over his head. So
As we all are.
we at this point?
Yeah.
You're just too easy for me to. You're just setting it up, aren't you? You guys dragged me along.
It's supposed to be a simple transport mission. Just bring the object from the old world or to the new world to the old.
Oh yeah,
But
the old
nothing
world is below
simple,
us.
I suppose. When it comes to the supernatural.
Like, at what point do we just say, you know what? Screw it. Let's just give them the thing they're looking for.
If it comes between one of us or the cargo, I suppose it would certainly be the cargo that needs to go. I'm not going to
Tried
sacrifice
negotiating.
any of you for it.
I did try negotiating with them, and they weren't having any of it. I even asked if they'd give us a replica.
You spoke with the fish
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, quite pleasant. No, not really.
Are they in contact with this shadow group that's been giving us grief this last week?
Seems so. But the hybrid people are here for. They're the ones who are liaising between them. But they're at their wits' end, I guess. They wouldn't make any promises that we wouldn't be destroyed or hurt.
Well, this artifact seems to be our only leverage at the moment.
But yes, let's move stealthily.
Yeah, looking, no one's in earshot at this point.
As far as you know, obviously it is still dimly lit thanks to the emergency lighting in the halls, and you are making your way up the steps to the next level. You, I'd say, pretty much are at the next level at this point in time, about to open the door into the upper level of the first class passenger cabins.
I'll pause
Let me see.
before at the door and say, we set up in the captain's quarters. Figured no one would be using it at the moment.
Get your pistol out. Can
Pull
we
the
see through
pistol
the
out.
window? Must
You
be
what?
looking towards- Can we see through a tiny little window? If there should be one on the door or not?
Yeah, sure. I'll say that there's a tiny little window that she gives you a dim yellowy orange glow of the emergency lights in the hall.
Anything through?
Through which you do not
Actually-
see any movement.
I will say
Right.
retroactively, I would have reloaded my gun after Watts had used it.
A good call.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, I would have reloaded it and handed it back to you and reloaded my own.
Okay.
Because when I was saying that I was reloading.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so I'll quietly open the door.
I
Use
guess
the
give me a
driver-
listen.
Listen? I'm not listening. I'm just quietly opening.
Well, I guess if you're not listening, then sure, don't give me a listen. You open the door to a dimly lit hall. You don't see any signs of movement. You do know that Mrs. Hastings' cabin is to the right and just around the corner.
And
Okay.
down the same hallway as the captain's.
Down to the left and down a hallway is the captain's and the far end of the ship.
Kind of give everybody a look. Should we meet up with Draper first? He could be in trouble. He's been by himself longer.
Also, Nora, pew pew.
I mean, what's closer?
I suppose they're about even distance.
Let's split up. No, that's kidding.
Yeah, Mrs. Hastings is quite close, while the captain's cabin is at the far end of this level.
Yeah, it makes sense since we're so close. We could just try and do this as quickly and as stealthily as possible, and then go towards Roland as quick as we can. Unless you guys have anything else to say.
No, I think that's a good idea. I mean, I know Roller's been on his own for longer. But
Yeah.
we had instructions that Nora was going to come straight back, and she didn't.
It's decided then.
Plus, I like Nora more.
Gonna give him a look.
Yeah, so I'll stealthily approach Mrs. Hastings' room.
Well, if you're stealthing, give me the roll.
Come on, stealth.
Oh wow.
Jeez, those are some good rolls, Mr. Wright. So you make your way towards the room. There is no interruption as you make your way there. The door is closed.
I'll give a little rap on the door. Nora.
Do you speak right away?
Yeah. Nora.
Okay. As you hear, possibly, depending on how good your hearing is, a faint click of a gun, like ready, and then when you speak, it clicks again, and she opens the door a little bit. It's like, oh, good. There was a fish thing wandering around. I don't suppose you ran into it.
No. But
They
we
seem
need
to
go.
be out in force at this moment.
I don't think they're trying to be quiet anymore. She'll sort of rush you all into the room quickly and close the door again.
We need to go rescue Roland. I like him a lot better than you.
Right. Well, that's probably a good idea, but I don't really want to just leave her here asleep on her own.
Yes,
I don't know
get
where
that,
Miss
but
Green is.
He has the thing.
Miss Green's captive. Miss
Captive?
Cuthbert's made her move. And this seems to be holding people in the dining hall.
In the dining hall. Well, Nora pulls out her gun, checks that it's full. So, what's our game plan? Surely we need to rescue these hostages as soon as possible.
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
Well, we
feel like
we
we-
should definitely meet up with Roland. I separated from him quite some time ago now to find you all, but you were all gone already.
He's just down the
Yes,
hall. so-
things have been moving very quickly this evening.
And you have all seen why we moved. One of our traps were set off. We were
Yes.
able to make our way away.
Yeah, Roland did a great job with that thing.
All the more reason to liberate him. He's where exactly?
Just opposite of your hall.
All right. Well, you keep an eye on Miss Hastings. They are unlikely to look for us right here. I shall return with Mr. Draper. She'll open the door, slip out, and
Wait.
just close it again.
Don't suppose you have a minigun in your closet there, Mrs. Hastings?
A snoring sound emanates from the bed.
I look at everybody for a second. We're going with her, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I open the door and follow.
Yeah, so do I.
You slip out into the hall, and with Miss Baker in the lead. Miss Baker, which way are you going?
Turn around, glare back.
Brady, you can watch. I'm sure.
Please find a
Brady
way
can
of
find it.
locking this door.
To remind you about the layout of the ship, I just shared again with you the handout. The top one is both the first and second level of the first class cabins. You would be at the bottom left indicated place of the cabins down from the stairwell. There's no good way to hold on. I'll just post a screenshot.
Oh, yeah, on A deck, B deck, or C deck? A deck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sorry, James. I kept talking at the same time as you.
All right, 1 second. Here we go. So the circle is where you are, and the captain is where Draper is. Captain's quarters,
Okay.
and the dining hall is at the is not on this level. The dining hall is 2 levels down.
Standing outside the door, do we think it would be safer here or the captain's quarters? We could all move one, or we could move everybody to one or the other.
Well, if you all insist on coming with me, then I suppose we best bring Miss Hastings along.
I feel like she's best on her own.
I meant more like a Ms. Hastings, but sure, Mrs. Whatever. I don't want to leave her unsupervised at this point. I feel like they may have taken notice of her after opening the portal that allowed them to come through.
The captain's
Brit-
quarters isn't exactly inconspicuous either.
Brady just awkwardly holding the trident. He's like, I guess I can stay with her if no one else wants to.
We're just leaving one person and then heading to the next location, and then we're never together. This is becoming a problem.
It's true. At this point, we should probably try and stick together. I don't know. I feel most comfortable if I were to take the lead, ready to deal with any things that come up, but which among you feels adequate to carrying a lady to a new location? Carefully and respectfully, of course.
I definitely could try. I don't think I'm too frail to try and carry a woman respectfully to another location, but I can leave it up to Mr. Wright or Watts if they'd rather.
Right, and has a sheepish shrug with his widow muscles.
I can do it if you like. You're probably a better shot than I am anyway, Brady.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, but I mean, I did shoot that one guy on the deck and in the head, so I feel like I've got a little bit of something going for me right now.
And I've lost 6 of my daily sanity.
Yeah, not great. Nora just like reaches into multiple pockets and pulls out a bunch of packs of ammo. Just like, does anyone need a refill? Anyone?
I'll
I
take
think
a
I'm
case.
using a smaller caliber. Kind of check his over. I forget which kind.
I will
Ah.
carry Mrs. Hastings somewhere else. Where do you want me to take her? As we have this discussion in the hallway.
Well, I suppose, Mr. Brady, perhaps if you will take the rear and keep an eye out. We will carry Miss Hastings somewhere in the middle of the group, and I will lead the way. We'll head for the captain's quarters as quietly and quickly as we can. And if we encounter any resistance along the way, we shall try to avoid them rather than engage, considering our cargo. Everyone ready to go?
Our firemen's carry her. It's the most efficient way.
Well, her lady in waiting is in the dining room. Where did her henchman go?
He, I don't know where he is now, but
So he
he
wasn't
did
in the
not
building, at
react
least.
very well to the spells, and when I
Probably.
challenged him for being frightened, he seemed to take offense and ran off.
Yep, he's probably playing with some pansies right now.
Well, we all know the best way to show you're not frightened is to run away, I suppose.
To give him some credit, he was in a fairly unusual circumstance, but I was hoping he would turn up in her quarters mostly unscathed. Hopefully, we can locate him at some point when all of this is over. I feel this hostage situation, however, that should take precedence as soon as we've recovered Mr. Draper.
Agreed. Well, let's be done with this. Kind of look nervously at the hallways.
Don't worry, Mr. Wright. We'll make it through this one. We've done this enough times now. She'll set off towards the captain's quarters.
So I'm in the middle of the group with Mrs. Hastings, right? Okay.
Yeah, so I guess I had asked Mr. Brady to be at the end, and I guess Mr. Wright sort of either in front of or behind Mr. Watts, wherever you feel like makes sense.
Yep.
In front, I guess.
My gun will be tucked into my waistband visually for you to see if you need to grab it.
I have the trident and the gun. So
Nice.
I've got Mrs. Hastings over one shoulder and carrying the trident in the other hand.
Perfect. Nora is like doing the FBI like,
We're like the weirdest looking group right now.
oh yeah.
2 tridents, one carrying some random women, and then 2 people with guns.
Excellent.
I swear we are not raiding this ship.
As you make your way out into the hall, hold on, wait. Oh, finally. Okay. As you make your way in the hall, you hear this sudden hum that overtakes the ship that you was conspicuously missing before. The engines have seemed to have started. The lights briefly flicker. The proper lights briefly flicker on before going off once more as the engine kicks in, but the generator is not yet back up and functional. It only had a brief surge of power. The lurching of the ship steadies somewhat as it starts to pull back into line with making proper progress against the waves. I guess whoever's in first, I guess Nora probably. Give me a listen roll. Do not hear anything. Do you go left and then across, or across and then left?
Left. And then across.
All right, so you make your way, making a left turn down the hall and approach the other side of the ship. You stop at the corner before you turn down the long hall of rooms on the port side of the vessel. Am I getting that wrong? Yeah, no, I'm not. Port, that's right. You are. Do you just walk around the corner? Do you do anything before you?
No, if we're going around a corner, is there any fog in this area, or was that just?
Yeah, it was just the one area down below.
Okay. Then yes, I will sort of stop and like signal to the people behind me to stop. Just hold up a hand or something, and then I will very quietly and slowly try to peek around the corner in the direction we want to go and see if there's anything there.
Peeking around the corner, you see down at the far end of the hall a figure in the darkness that appears to be wrestling with one of the doors. I will say at this point, Mr. Draper, you would hear this from several doors down from you, the sound of somebody trying to break into one of the rooms.
Okay. So at this point, it just seems to be like one creature. Can I tell from here if it's a person or a fish?
Is there a role for that? Yeah, I guess spot hidden. With a regular success in the darkness, I will say that it is difficult to tell.
Man, guns are so loud. All right, Nora will gesture to the group behind her for one of the tridents.
All
I
right.
will divvy up my trident that I am carrying.
All right, Nora is going to keep her gun in like her left hand, and as quietly as she can, try and like sneak forward, keep an eye out to see that there's not other creatures around. But as long as there's just the one, she's just going to try and get as close as she can, and then like stab it with the trident.
All right. Give me a stealth roll, I suppose.
She's kind of good at that. Yeah.
You wave back to your companions and you start creeping down the hall. As you are about halfway down between the where your companions are at the edge there and the figure trying to get its way in, it hears you approaching and turns. You hear a strange primal gurgling scream as it turns and starts dashing towards you.
At least I know it's a bad thing.
We will have to do turn order.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I suppose I need to give you tokens. We will do this theater of the mind style, considering it's a single unit. And Mr. Watts, you see down the hall as Miss Baker is surprised as this thing turns towards her and starts charging.
Not much I can do. I'm holding Mrs. Hastings, so I'm just going to point the trident and say, "Avada Kedavra!" and just see if something happens at that point.
Yeah. Yes, give me another luck roll. Let's see if you figure it out.
In Arlean, right?
In Alien, yeah. But just unlucky. It's not happening.
Nothing happens from the trident that you hold.
Switch tridents with me, Brady. No, that's my go.
The hybrid deep one closes quickly upon Miss Baker, and it goes to try and grapple her to the ground. Make a contested brawl check. As it comes at you, you're able to ad hoc jiu-jitsu throw it to the side, and it stumbles past you, turning upon you once more, ready for its next attack. Mr. Draper, you hear the sounds of scuffling in the hall. I don't know if any of your companions have cried out, so you would recognize them, but I would assume probably not.
No, at this point, I mean, the whole point behind the trident was trying not to make too much noise, so that's why Nora didn't just shoot the thing.
Yeah. Mr. Wright, then, you also at the end of the hall, far end of the hall.
All right. So, with them in close quarters, like there's a chance I could accidentally hit a friendly, right?
There is indeed. The exact rules, but yes, if you shoot at them, there's a solid chance that you would hit them.
Kind of probably would go to shoot for a second and then notice like there's no clean shot and then try and help with brawl.
It's far enough, yeah, that you could sprint down the way and attempt to brawl with the. Are you going to attempt to like punch it or like attempt to like grapple it to the ground?
We'll go with grapple.
All right. Well, go ahead and make a brawl check.
On the combat tab, I've never used brawl before. How do I shoot that off?
It's on the skills thing under fighting.
Oh, it's in the skills. That's weird.
I know it should be, but it's not.
These damn cats. So the physical books come with like nice little like ribbons at the top, but the cats ate them. You rush down the way, and while the hybrid deep one appears to be ill equipped to try and stop you, you're not able to make it quite in time. And I mean, well, maybe not quite in time, but like you're not able to make it quite effectively down the long length of the hall and catch it by surprise. Hearing you coming, it steps out of the way, and you rush past, missing him by a bare inches. Miss Baker, you are standing with a trident as this thing has just passed you.
All right, well, I guess I'm just gonna spin around and try and stab it in the back with the trident.
All right, I believe that is a brawl check as well because it is a hand weapon. You will attempt to fight back.
I'm also
Which he does
thinking
so successfully.
lightning when I
Oh.
stab, just in case it matters.
He slaps the trident out of the way, punching you across the jaw.
Rude.
And
Jerk.
where is... Where the heck is the damage for this? That's weird. Okay, hold on. Sorry, 1 second. This is just missing the damage thing on the sheet. Yeah, I think it's just 1d4. Okay. He punches you across the jaw, you taking a single damage as you get knocked briefly to the side.
Is this a full deep one or a semi-deep one?
A hybrid deep one. It's not a full deep one.
Mr.
Brady.
Okay. Yeah, hearing Dan say to trade him tridents, I would just tell him I handed mine off to, or he would yell out, I handed mine off to Nora. And then he's going to. Can I see the fish man clearly, or is he obstructed by anybody, or?
He's between both Wright and Baker in kind of a mix of combat, hand-to-hand combat.
Okay. Oof. Yeah. Him thinking to himself, him being an old man, he doesn't feel confident that he can really add to the situation, but he's gonna try and he's gonna try and get close, but kind of move to an angle to where maybe he could take a shot if he had to take a shot. Like if somebody, I guess maybe hold a shot just in case somebody were to get injured.
All right, yeah, you can move forward and brandish your gun, basically taking the aim action so that you get a bonus die the next turn.
Yeah. Yep.
Mr. Watts, back to the top of the round.
I'm just gonna shake this stupid thing. Like, come on, just work, will you? And then point and do it again.
All right. I guess we'll let you keep doing luck rolls to see whether you're going to just figure out the right thing to say.
Yeah, I'll just try another different word. Oh my god. I don't know what to do.
It fizzles and
Nice.
sparks, but fails.
I'll just get into a better position if I need to step in. I will, but that's it.
All right. The hybrid deep one turns towards Mr. Wright on the other side of him and lashes out with its fist. You need to choose whether you dodge or whether you fight back.
Definitely dodge. And that one's in the combat, right? Just
Yeah. I don't know if dodge is just on their main sheet. Doesn't matter because it failed anyway. The two of you tussle briefly without taking any damage as it tries to attack you, and you're able to ward off the blow, slapping it to the side. Mr. Draper, you can still hear the sounds of tussling happening in the hall. Yeah, it would take a moment. Also, it takes your turn to unblock the door. It wouldn't be like a massive barricade considering the limited amount of furniture, but it'll take you a turn to move it out of the way. Then it brings us to Mr. Wright.
Yeah, I still don't have a clear shot.
No, you ran in, so you would have
yeah,
a clear
that
shot.
Oh, that makes it better.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you're not going to accidentally shoot somebody at point blank range.
Yeah, it's true.
And if anything,
I'll
you get
go
also
first
a bonus.
shot.
Yeah, you get a bonus die for it too.
You'll be the first one to break the noise. How do you do? How do you do bonus die?
You click the bonus penalty at the bottom. Much fucking better.
Well, that's a little bit of a polar opposite
Damn,
there.
that's fantastic.
So roll another damage die, another 1d8. You swiftly pull your pistol out as this thing is trying to swipe at you. After batting its arm aside, you fan the hammer briefly, firing a single shot straight into its chest. It crumples briefly and stumbles backwards, holding itself upon the wall. It remains upright for the time being, but it is severely damaged. Miss Baker.
Well, now that the silence has been broken, she's just gonna drop the trident and switch to like both hands with her gun, and I guess she's point blank, right? She's just gonna fire 3 shots into this thing.
You will take a penalty die for that. I have to swap weapons and everything.
Well, she said she had her gun in her left hand, so she's just gonna.
Oh, you're trident handgun, so
Yeah.
okay. So you're just dropping the.
I just like dropping the
to
trident
be
and
able
then
to fan the hammer.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you'll be a regular no bonus.
Yes. For one shot.
For multiple shots.
Okay. Yes.
Jesus. Miss Baker, quick to shoot, drops the trident after it stumbles backwards and is briefly stunned. Fans the hammer on her weapon, firing off a. Actually, I suppose it's not a fan the hammer weapon. It's an automatic pistol. She pulls the trigger a bunch. Doesn't sound nearly as exciting. And the weapon's first report slams into the head of this creature, spraying blood and guts and brains across the back side of the wall. Before 2 more shots land straight in the middle of its chest. Black ichor coats the side of the hallway as the thing slumps to the ground, unmoving. And you are out of combat. With that, I think we will take a brief break for bathroom. All right. Well, with that, you guys have taken down this hybrid deep one that was patrolling the upper area. And just as you do so, Mr. Draper opens the door down at the far end of the hall.
Oh, good. You are alive. Well, we should probably get this body out of the hallway.
Should fit
Anything
alive
interesting
here.
happen to you?
Sorry, I just realized my mic on stream was not working.
Oh
no.
Oh no!
Oh,
So yeah, I've been muted
you
up
just
at
didn't
this
have like
point
an
to
extended
stream.
long monologue.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I wasn't doing much up until this point.
Just a good point to miss it, if anywhere.
I did that before. I don't know why, but whatever. So yeah, I guess I don't know if hearing the gunshots would have made him stop, or keep going, or go faster. I think he the only people he knows that have guns on the ship are his fellows. So I guess he would just come out. He would peek first to see what was going on.
Well, then peering out into the hall, you probably would have just caught as the gunshots went off moments before to look out and see the shadowy figure of Nora and Wright in the hall not too far from you as the hybrid fishman slumps to the ground. It would be a little hard to make out exactly what's going on, though. You might be initially cautious.
Yeah, I would. I guess if I can see them, I would head into the hallway.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be able to immediately figure it out, but I think like you know your friends well enough to after a moment of studying who's in the hall to at the very least make out that they're not hybrid fish people.
Well, then yeah, I'd step out and be like, "Is everyone okay?"
Are you okay?
Draper, it's good to see you.
Oh,
I'm sorry for leaving you alone for so long.
no, it's okay. It was mostly uneventful, luckily, until I started hearing the commotion out here.
Your
Things
trap
have-
worked wonders, Roland.
I heard it earlier. Good to know it
3 of them,
worked.
I think I counted. Well, there's lots of body parts, so it's hard to really tell, but I think there was 3 of them.
Well, I'm glad to know I put enough gunpowder in there, at least. Good that none of us were around.
Things have gotten complicated.
Well, should we come in the room so we're not just in the hall?
That would be wise.
I'm gonna quickly check the pockets of the guy that Nora just killed. Straight up murdered. Let's see if there's anything in them.
If you want to go through it thoroughly, it'll take a little bit. You'll do a spot hidden. A short, brief check. You will find that he seems to be conspicuously, not really particularly holding anything on him. Well, sorry, with the exception of a pistol, which he had not brandished in your fight.
I'll
I
seeing him mess with the body. I'll say, should we bring the body in the room too?
Likely, for the time being at least.
can
Quick-
start dragging his body in.
Quick question: did Miss Hastings sleep through all that?
That's a good question.
Literal
With the
guns
sounds of
like-
the guns, she is somewhat awake again, and at this point would be would have struggled to have Mr. Watts put her down.
I hold on. No, I was kidding. I put it down. It's fine.
She says, "Mr. Watts, where are you taking me? I was settled in so nicely into my room."
Well, as you can probably tell from the commotion, there was fish people all around, and they were getting closer to your room. We felt that after the occurrences downstairs, that you might be a source of target. So we decided to bring you along with us to keep you safe. Pardon my manhandling of yourself, but we thought it was best to bring you along, and I was the strongest person here to be able to do that. Not like your Mr. Cox who ran out on us from downstairs rather than help. Just so you know, he is not going to protect you if something happened. He'll just run away and cry.
Cox has been so reliable all this time. He must have been pushed to the brink by the experiences below.
I'm sure he was, but it takes a special type of person to react. And he's just not that. He just doesn't have that. So, anyway. So, rescuing the hostages, huh?
Hostages?
Unfortunately, including your lady in waiting.
Miss Green has been taken. We must do something to free her now.
That was the plan. We should probably make sure that you are somewhere safe for the time being. I know you need your rest.
I'm sure I'll be fine back in my room if you'll let me go back there.
How was the captain's quarters, Draper?
Until this one started coming down here, the noises seem to be them patrolling. I don't know if he's the only one up here. We should get in the room.
Meanwhile,
Yep.
in the background, Brady's just like struggling to pull this dead body into the room, slipping on the blood.
Nora would assist.
Well,
You
we
know,
have
all
the
oh,
run
sorry.
of the captain's quarters for the moment. If you're worried about security, Miss Hastings.
I think I would feel more comfortable if you were somewhere less expected with no one there to guard you. I worry that someone may find your rooms quite easily.
This person who's taken people hostages, a Miss Cuthbert, which I'm sure you've seen about. She seems to know who's on the ship, and I'm sure she has names that she wants to take, or at least knows would make a valuable commodity.
She must be after my book, but it's no longer in my possession. What am I going to do?
Well, staying safe for one would be a start.
I'm sure my rooms are as safe as any if they've taken control of the ship.
No, I don't think they've taken control of the ship, but they've certainly put whatever plans in progress. They're acting quite bold now. And in the open. The ship, it seemed like the engines had turned back on. So perhaps I don't know. Perhaps things are going better than we think.
I would just love to see that Miss Green is brought to safety. If there's somewhere that you think I'm safer than my own quarters, I'm happy to go there.
Unfortunately, there is no certainty at this time of pretty much anything, but we do seem to be moving forward again. And I would question the safety of your rooms. If you would stay here, lock the door, we'll be back as soon as we're able. Get some rest, and Well, be careful if anyone comes to the door. Don't just let anyone in.
If
You say so, but well, I'm so exhausted. I need to sleep.
Get some rest. We'll send Miss Green to you as soon as we can.
So you're escorting her into the captain's room then?
Question: is there still goop in the around the shower? Do we need to warn not to touch any of that?
There is, in fact, still goop around the shower, and you should probably warn her not to touch that. It's also
Probably
on the
a
bed,
good
actually, I
thing.
suppose, unfortunately. Unless you strip the bed.
Probably should do that.
Yeah, we could do that real
I'm
quick.
sure there's some spares or something somewhere.
So you escort her into the room where the item is still located. If you certainly can't quickly strip the bed and lay her down upon it. She is clearly extremely exhausted and quick to fall back asleep after being woken up by the preceding events. You could pass on some small amount of information, but she's definitely kind of out of it.
We should probably leave a note for the captain. It would be a little bit strange to walk into your quarters to find some random passenger sleeping on your bed.
I think he was staying in a different room.
Oh, that's right.
For the
The
moment.
last couple nights have been, well, something else.
Yeah. We could put the body in the tub, I guess. Wouldn't matter about the goo in the shower.
As long as we're sure it's dead.
You shot its brains out, so
I don't know. It's a strange fish thing.
is a not yet fully converted human who's being turned into a fish man.
Okay. Well, sure. We can stash the body. And I guess we've got a hostage situation, but I also kind of want to go check on like the bridge and see what's going on. Because the engines are back on. That seems like a good thing, but possibly also anomalous. I don't know.
Should we coordinate with the captain? I'm sure he still has some manpower left. If they had taken over the ship, I'm sure the engines would still be off.
I'd say that's a good idea. I mean, that's probably where their focus is, but who knows if he knows that there are hostages or not. Maybe the bursar is better armed to deal with this rather than these pistols.
Also, anything to put a further wedge and distance between that whole affair with Miss Cuthbert. Wouldn't want him falling back to old habits.
I would guess that the game has been played at this point if she is acting so openly, but it is a worthy precaution. Shall we check on the bridge then and hopefully recruit some assistance? Perhaps if we surround them, they will give up easily.
Before we leave, and after Miss Hastings is like out, I would ask, should we leave the object so close to her? I don't.
Absolutely not.
I don't know.
It's a
where
good catch.
We could. I
Damn
guess
it,
we could
let's
put it
have
back
fun
in
with
our. I guess we could put it back in our rooms. They've already
Move
checked
Miss
them.
Hastings again. Dump her in the cabin that the captain's actually staying in now.
It's the bursar's quarters, right?
Yeah, they're next door.
Yeah, that sounds like a better idea.
The less times we move this thing, the better, I think. It really has become quite the burden.
I was actually beginning to think quite the opposite. It would be much easier if it were, well, easier to keep with us and keep an eye on.
It is. We did run out of decoys. The last one seems to have exploded.
Indeed, this chest is, well, rather conspicuous at this point, and I'm tired of having to worry about where it is and what is happening with it. Perhaps it is time to transport the artifact somewhere else.
You mean remove it from the case?
It'd be far easier to take care of if we can keep it with us and under guard.
It would also give us an extra decoy.
Indeed.
Quick question: what caliber was the weapon that the person was brandishing?
The 38 revolver.
Okay. Brady would have just probably put it into his like front pocket. All right, he's gonna check to see if it's loaded.
It is in fact loaded with 6 rounds.
Okay. Yeah, he'll just put it away.
Hey, that looks like mine. I have some spare ammo if you need it.
Is this yours? Oh, you're just talking about the caliber. I had planned on maybe giving this to the captain, but I don't know if we should be giving weapons away.
Well, the purser and the first mate seemed trustworthy, at least. And you do have your trident. Gonna give it a glance.
Well, it's Nora's trident, but I think my gun will do good for now. So are we going to? So do we go see the captain?
I think we should check in, but we shouldn't leave this here. And Nora will move towards the case to start trying to open it.
Remind me, how big is the actual artifact in just its minimal carrying case?
The artifact, well, the carrying case, you've not seen the actual artifact itself, I don't think. Other than maybe very briefly at Abner Wicks initially, is probably about 1.5 feet wide and 2 feet tall.
Could be worse. Does it have it has handles? Something we could fix up with rope or something into a little makeshift backpack.
The artifact itself is a small statuette, well, mid-sized statuette, I guess. The box obviously has handles on it.
Right. Sure, we could figure some way to hoist it and carry it around.
Yeah.
Dangle it, whatever you need.
No bag in the captain's.
There we go. I showed to players.
Yep. Yeah, no, we'll just take like the inner box out. I guess partway through, she'd stop and turn to Mr. Draper. Like, this isn't going to explode in my face, is it?
No. I actually haven't opened that since we've got it.
Excellent. Well, here goes nothing. She'll attempt to open it and take out the inner box. And like, I don't know, stick it in some kind of satchel she can carry around. I don't know.
I don't know whether you have a satchel with you, but yeah, I mean,
I don't know, in the captain's quarters, maybe there's some
Picks-
kind of bag.
Draper picks the lock to open it because I believe you guys did not have the actual key to the case because you never asked Abner Wick for it. But I'd say Draper's perfectly capable of picking that lock. You would find the interior box that holds the actual artifact internally intact. I suppose you take a look around the quarters if you want to find something else that you can carry it in. I'd say that's probably roughly like a luck roll, unless you just want to like wrap it up inside like a blanket. I'd say successful luck roll will be that you find some kind of actual item to carry it, or sorry, actual like way of carrying it around that is not just like wrapping it in like a sheet. All right. Well, I guess let's say you do find a satchel of sorts that you can place it in. It's a little awkward to fit in, but it's like a duffel bag that you can put across your shoulders that will be large enough to hold it.
So we
Cool.
took the statue out of the box that was inside of the box.
No. Just took the inner box out of the outer box. The statue
Okay.
still contains.
Yeah,
So,
so
yeah,
yeah,
'cause
because
the
the
statue
statue was in its own little miniature crate. There was
Okay.
then a actual like an actual like steamer trunk that was
Gotcha.
like a larger thing that was for.
Perfect.
Having secured the little box, Nora will sort of turn to the rest of the group. Well, shall we head towards the bridge, I suppose, and check in, and then go see about these hostages?
I mean,
I'll make sure to
Just
lock
give
the
this thing
box
back.
back. The suitcase.
Yeah, the steamer trunk.
Yeah. Just in case. Just to give them a little trouble if they find it.
And you're leaving the steamer trunk here?
I don't know, put it in like the
Yeah.
bursar's room, maybe?
I feel like, honestly, at this point, we just leave it. Probably.
Yeah.
Just
I
for
just don't know if
time.
someone's gonna like. Yeah, no, it's probably fine. Let's just leave it. We gotta move on.
We got hostages.
All right, so you are certainly able to do that. It shouldn't take terribly long for you to have this discussion and make these changes. You are now carrying the artifact. Who's carrying the artifact? Baker? Okay. Baker is holding on to the artifact in the duffel bag. You head back out into the hall, and let me actually, 1 second.
I'll make sure to lock the captain's door before we leave.
Locking the captain's door on your way out, you hear another whirring hum as electricity returns to the ship. The lights all come back on that properly light the halls. And you're able to see once more with some with better ability throughout the various public areas. And there is obviously the stairway quite close by that takes you up to the top level to be able to go to the what do you call it? Captain's deck? No, the
bridge.
bridge. That's the word. Thank you. Heading that way then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could throw off that box into the water, you know. Not the actual. I mean, the old box, you know.
I think the fewer detours at this point, the better. Things are
I mean,
moving
we have to-
quickly.
We have to go outside anyway to the bridge. We just wham it off the side.
There is an internal, well, not quite internal, but like you'll be brought up to like the upper deck that's open to the water, but it's otherwise an internal staircase.
I'm sorry, what do you want to throw into the
Old
ocean?
box.
Up to you.
Well, I'm not going near the water or the edge. It's just a suggestion.
I think I'd rather keep it just in case we need another decoy.
Oh, in case they
Non-decoy
break in.
decoy.
At this point, I think we may as well just play the hands we have and try and get this over with. Nora will keep pressing towards the bridge.
All right. So unless there's more you want to discuss, you could find your way to the bridge. It is a hive of activity as the boat is being brought back to rights, and electricity is now properly back on. You see as the flicker of the lights on the front of the ship are coming on just as you reach the top. The storm is still in full swing, and lightning arcs across the sky in all directions. The captain is barking orders at the various crew members who are on the bridge with him.
Say again, who was there?
The captain and and a bunch of crew members are on the bridge, and all of you are arriving there from the outer deck on the top level.
We don't see the bursar first mate.
The first mate, yes. The bursar, no.
You might be a hostage. Captain!
Says, "You're here then. What can you tell me of this hostage situation? They have not set demands, but I've heard from the crew that they have taken over control of the galley."
Well, you know more than we do. We
Is that
assume they're
so?
here we assume they're here for the thing, you know?
That would seem the logical thing to assume. Do you have it with you?
No.
It is safely in good hands. Seems Miss Cuthbert has some sort of agreement or association with these people. She is one of those holding them hostage.
Cuthbert, well, I have my hands full at the moment keeping this ship on track. Is there anything you can do to see these strange beings off the ship?
Well, we've seen a couple of them gone. How many do I count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. About 7 were taken. Do
I
you
have
any
not been
opinion-
counting, but we are dealing with them as we encounter them.
Well, we were hoping we could get help from you. Where's your bursar?
He was seeing to the lower decks last I saw him. That was, well, a few hours ago.
That's the last I saw of him as well.
Do you have any more substantial weaponry than these pistols at your disposal?
No, we are not a armed vessel.
Are none of you armed up here?
We have no reason to be at sea. This is a civilian vessel, and we don't generally carry arms, Mr. Wright.
You know, been reading about pirates.
Not out here on the Atlantic, fortunately.
Okay.
If you were armed, do any of you know how to use one?
Well, many of us were part of the merchant marine or the navy during World War One. They wouldn't know. It wouldn't be called one yet, would it? During the Great War. Anachronisms.
One. Everyone goes wide-eyed.
Oh shit! Gave it away. There's going to be a second one during the Great War. So certainly many of the crew are competent marksmen.
I give Benjamin a look.
Well, we did find this, and one of you probably should have it. Looking at the first mate.
The first mate nods, and the captain turns and says, "It's like, well, we have a détente with the group that's down in the dining hall. We must convince them to leave somehow. I'm not sure what their demands are, but they have not sent a representative."
Have you asked for a parley?
I have not had a chance. It's only just now that the electricity has come back on. I only heard moments ago that the situation was as it stands.
You have one of those machines where you can choose to talk to a room. You know, like perhaps give them a call.
A speaking tube. Yes, I could try and speak down to the galley. I suppose. I'm not sure if anybody's down there to hear it though.
Give it a go. Or I can give it a go.
He gestures to the first mate, who walks over to the tube and yells into it and says, "Is anybody down there? Hello, galley." He waits a moment and listens at it, and nothing comes through.
Guess not then. Well, what do you suggest we do, Captain, if the demands are for this thing?
I just want to see our way out of this safely. If it requires you to give up the artifact, so be it. If you can find a way to resolve the situation without, then I suppose that's on you. If it comes to it that the safety of my ship is required, requires the sacrifice of whatever it is that you carry, well, I will quite happily make that decision.
What if I was to tell you that if they were to get hold of that thing, that's not just the ship is in danger, but the entire upper world?
I don't know much about that, and it's not something that I'm ready to make a call on. I suppose if my responsibility lies with seeing us safely to shore first and foremost.
Cool. I was just wondering.
Whether or not they mean us harm in the whether they get the artifact or not, I don't know yet. But it seems like the logical assumption, considering that this all started with this trip.
Did we ever tell him it was an artifact?
Yeah, so he was already warned by Abner Wick that you guys were coming to escort some kind of special artifact across the sea on his boat.
All right, so we didn't accidentally slip up, knowing
No.
exactly what we have.
You said this is the first situation like this that you've ever run up against.
I've had some strange dealings in the past, particularly when I was part of the Merchant Marine servicing Africa and South America during the Great War. But nothing that, was so pervasive and dangerous as what we seem to be experiencing now.
All right, let's head down there, guys. I think. What do you think?
We probably shouldn't wait much longer.
Yeah.
Maybe, right, you're a smooth talker. Maybe you could borrow this geezer's uniform. Disguise.
It certainly wouldn't hurt to have some flexibility. Also, do you happen to have any more satchels?
Duffel bags like the ones you carry.
Yeah.
I suppose there might be a few that hold some emergency supplies under the cabinets there.
Excellent. I grab as many as he has.
You can find two.
Sick. slap one on and toss one to Draper.
Yeah. Do so these already have stuff in them?
They already have stuff in them. Yes, these are satchels of emergency supplies, flares, and the like.
Would it be roughly the same weight as the artifact, or probably less?
I would say weight-wise, yes. Size-wise, they are fuller. The artifact itself is a small, more tightly contained box that is heavy because it's straight up stone. Whereas these are like a mixed bag of stuff.
Okay.
Well, Captain, we'll do what we can do, but we were hoping that to be getting assistance rather than getting sent there on our own. Is there really no more resources you can call on?
I'm afraid we're strapped as it is. My goal at the moment is to keep this vessel seaworthy, and what crew is not up here is largely down in the hold. Last I heard, if you can find anybody on your way down there that you can press gang into your service, so be it. You have my go ahead to try and pull in any crew that you might find on the way. I'm afraid to say that they are presumably all occupied with important efforts across the ship to keep the passengers assuaged and the engines running.
You have any token we could use if such a situation came up that we would need to show that we had your favor?
There's a sensible idea. One moment, and he reaches up to his lapel and takes off the captain's insignia that sits upon it, and says, "If there's anything that should convey my approval, it should be this."
Thank you.
As we're heading out, I'm just gonna put my hand on the shoulder of the first mate, and when I'm handing over the gun, I'm just gonna tell him I hope you don't have to use this, and it's just for protection for yourself and your mates around you.
He nods at you, flipping open the revolver, checking the rounds in it very briefly before flipping it back closed. You can tell that he's a familiar hand with handling a weapon like this, and nods at you once more, and then slips it into his waistband.
I shovel around my jacket and grab a fistful of bullets and hand it to him. I think these are the same make.
He thanks you and says, indeed, they look like they will service. I will. I'm glad to have some kind of protection if we become accosted upon the bridge here.
Also of note, there's a cargo bay that's filled with, well, those passengers that had already lost their minds. They're all contained in a locked cargo bay now.
Well, if there's any place for them, that's it. It's probably the most secure place on the ship. Hopefully, nothing goes down there and freeze them.
Well, I suppose this is it then.
I suppose we best be on our way.
Did you get a uniform to wear or not?
Did they just hand us a uniform? How did that
Oh,
go?
sorry. Regarding the uniform, there are no extra uniforms just handy on deck unless you switch clothes with one of the other officers, which you could suggest, I suppose.
Kind of looks sad at his clothes. I just bought these.
These are very nice.
You don't have to. It's just a suggestion.
Were you hoping I negotiate on behalf of the captain?
I know. Just to see what they wanted, and
I unfortunately I've been made by Miss Cuthbert already. But perhaps I could fool one of her lackeys.
yeah, there's no need. She's the main POC point of contact. So let's head down there. See what we're dealing with.
I think the time for subterfuge may be well past. Nora will check once more to make sure her gun is fully loaded.
Seeing that, remember that one round was expended and load one in, out of sight of the captain slash crew.
How many entrances are there to the hall?
Mess hall. There are two, one at either end, basically. One that exits out onto the front deck, and one that is from the inner side by the stairwell.
We might want to enter at the same different entrances.
With them patrolling, I would not want to split us up, honestly.
You don't think it would be best if we came in at two different angles?
It might be for the best, but I agree that splitting up may be a bad idea.
How big is this the room? The
I
dining
have
room?
put you guys onto the map.
Oh damn, that big.
It's still all blurry for me.
Are we all in agreement
Oh.
that if they're all after the artifact, that we're just gonna give it to them? Like artifact over life or life over artifact?
Well, yeah, it's a tough one.
Honestly, we have to. I think we'd have to see how it goes.
Don't really want to get anybody killed for this thing, but at the same time, if we could get away with another switcheroo.
I'm also concerned that this artifact maybe should not be trusted in their hands. It's hard to know, but just handing it over may not be that simple.
Weird. I can see on Twitch that, like, yeah, it's just not loading the JPEG properly. Oh, there it goes.
It just takes a minute.
I see everything.
We'll have to play it moment to moment, I think, and see what we decide. But I certainly am not going to let innocent people be executed simply for an item we know very little about. We can hopefully recover it if it is necessary. I think we're all in agreements. We're not going to let anyone die for no reason.
For no reason, yes, but Watts is right. How many people would have died if we didn't take care at the college?
It is a fair point. Unfortunately, there were no hostages in that situation. This one is a little more delicate, but well, we'll see what we can do. All we can do is assess for the time being. Try and make an accurate call when we get there.
All right, who's going in first?
I would say I think this is probably a good place to call it for the night, so you guys can mull over your plan of attack, and we can kick it off with how you're going to handle this situation with the next session.